The Black Fat Femme Podcast is a production of iHeartRadio and Dr. John Paul, LLC. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Black Fat Femme Podcast, where all the intersections of identity are celebrated. I am one of your hosts, John, also known as Dr. John Paul, and I wanted to take a minute to speak the name of our good Judy, Miss Gwendolyn Thomas. So Mama had it rough these last few weeks with the talk of her surge pricing, and people dragged her left and right. People was mad at Miss Wendy. They was mad about that surge pricing. However, what I will say that after her being dragged, she has been redeemed by offering not only me, but all the other big girls $20 nugget buckets.
Ooh,
let me tell you that Mama
That's
is giving us a whole bucket of spicy goodness. And I'm just wondering if you're going to charge for extra sauce like McDonald's. Because you know McDonald's, she like to charge for extra sauce. Hey, but anyway, Joho, how you doing, girl?
Okay, first of all, I was like, who the fuck is Gwendolyn? Who is Gwendolyn? I literally said, I was like, Gwendolyn Thomas. I was like, do I know this person? Like, and then I was like, Wendy's. I'm weak. I was like, I was like, surge pricing. Does she own Uber? Like, what is happening with Gwendolyn Thomas? But you mean Miss Wendy, girl? Oh my God!
I
First
am.
of all,
that's who it
I'm
is.
thankful. Thank you for rehashing the saga of Wendy's and what's been happening with her, because I remember a few episodes ago you were mad because she had the surge pricing moment, or they were discussing it
and
but they didn't do it. So
and
was okay. And so good to know that they tried to redeem themselves with a nugget bucket instead. I'm curious of how many nuggets is in a bucket. Like, that's
50.
my real question. 50. Damn. Okay. 50 though, I don't know, because Mickey D's was out here doing 20 nuggets for $5, and so you can
yes.
You can get
50.
80 nuggets for 20 bucks. So I'm like, interesting. Okay, interesting stuff. So, anyways, all to say, wow, I'm like, Gwendolyn Thomas. Fam, what's good? Is your aka Joho, the co-conspirator in this conspiracy theory that we call Black Fat Fam. Okay, let me tell y'all, I am ready for the summer. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about me or the energy around me, but I'm just ready to be outside this season. I have renewed energy to just shake my ass, speak my mind, and burn some shit down. Like, I just feel something in the air, the pollen. I don't know if it's pollen. I don't know if it's a venereal disease, but something's just around these streets that make me think,
what?
I am ready. I am ready to just be outside this summer. Like, I'm ready to just live my best life.
You want to be fat. That's what it is.
I was like, you try to be fat. I'm tired of being slow. But let me also tell you, can you believe that we are literally almost in month 6 of this year? I am actually kind of like, how are we so far? I literally feel like, see, the thing is why is because 2024 came my hands. Like, this bitch came correct in the worst way for me. And so I'm like, you know what? The first half of you was rough, and I'm hoping the second half will be a lot better. So I feel like ready to go fuck some shit up in the best way. And also, like I said, burn some shit down, because systems clearly are failing. So why don't we just improve some stuff in our lives?
Right. I'm here for it. And I also will say, I feel like January was like a whole year, and then February came.
Girl.
And then somebody said that February, March, and April, and May flew by like 4 women
Why are we in a
Hyundai
moment?
Like, it just flew by, honey.
Please start out, please. The tape is like, I'm done. I'm done. Put me on.
It's moving. It is. Literally, we're a week away from June 1st. It's insane to me to think that we are so close to June 1st. But anyway, with that being said, this week we have an amazing person. So I will be transparent in saying that right before the pandemic started, this is not on the show flow, so they're probably looking and going, what is this? Well, I always do this on the show. Right when the pandemic started and I started seeing like this person pick up, I told myself, I said, when or if my show gets picked up, they have to be a guest. And God must have heard me at the time, because everything synced up and we were able to make it happen. I am just so grateful to have this person in our third seat to entertain our foolishness this week. This Philadelphia-based DJ who received viral attention for their inventive mashups a lot of their mashups are me cleaning my house. I be doing all of the work to a lot of their mashups, honey, just doing all of the works. But I just want to shout them out because during the pandemic, I really loved how they engaged with me. They would jump in my Twitter spaces. They would go live with me. They would always talk about what it's like to navigate the industry as a queer creator. And honestly, I've just loved being able to see the joy that they not only bring everyone, but also to see them get the same love and the joy back. It's just been really beautiful to see their work. And you probably all already know who it is because you can see it in the feature, but their work has brought collaborators with established artists like, is it DVSN or is it Division? Is it Division? Is that how you say their name? Division. Well, that's what they're going to be today. And Fat Joe. And most recently, the Renaissance Tour. And you know we're going to get into that, honey. But I'm hoping we get to see them on the Cowboy Carter Tour and I get to do a good 1-2 step in my boots to whatever mix that they're putting together because I know it's coming. But with that being said, please give it up to my good Judy Amorphous. How are you, sis? So happy that you're here. I'm so happy.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm just honored to be here. It's been, we've been talking about it for a minute, so I'm glad we were able to make it happen for real.
Yes, yes. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm just again, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come down to the Black Fat Film podcast to entertain us, sweetheart.
Okay. I am here.
We're so thrilled. And I also must say I've listened to the Things Take Shape EP countless times, especially back together with Kaylani because Kaylani's my girl, and also the cover of Finally with Kelly Rowland, or cover / new song with Kelly Rowland, and it's so funny because like I'm listening to it like not putting together that it's the same person we're having on the show. so when I was confirming you're coming, I was like this name sounds familiar, but it kept the same person. And I was like, oh my god! So very very thrilled that you're here with us, and I have to say, while we are gushing out the musical legend that is you today, Amorphous, we gonna kick off our show by giving our flowers to another legend, Miss Tisha Campbell, in our Still Here segment. So for today's question, I'm gonna ask y'all about something musical. I'm gonna ask y'all, what is your favorite song of your childhood, and what do you think it says about you today? I'll start first, and we'll kick it to our guest. We'll kick it to John. So for me, it would be a toss up between either "You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman" by Aretha Franklin, or Wait a Minute by the Pussycat Dolls. So first of all, these things say I have this. What these things say is I have good taste. Okay, that's what I first said. Period.
Yes,
but but I think it's just a notion that like. Well, so one, that was the first song I can ever remember singing as a kid. Like my mom always says that I actually started singing Chan Fools, but the first song I ever like remember singing from a full song is You Make Me Feel. And I think it speaks to the notion that I really appreciate songs with deep emotion, songs about love. It speaks to like how I want to love as a person, how passionate I am as a person, and how like for me like this is a song that if you sing, right, or perform, you got to give emotion. Like you can't dance to the song. You have to stand. You have to give us a treats real experience. Like you have to really serve a song. And so to me, it's like you got to feel this music. And so I feel like it doesn't mean that I'm very passionate. I'm in my body. I feel the things that I say, and I speak the things that I feel. I think Wait a Minute by Pussycat Dolls. PCD was okay. Listen, folks. DC3 was my girl group, but so was PCD. Yes. Like Pussycat Dolls, y'all can tell me nothing about Pussycat Dolls. When they dropped the album, when this song came on, oh, I was in my bag, y'all. I was in my bag. First of all, her and Timbaland just let to see the little video was so cute. I just love. To me, it's just such a fun song. It's a bop. It lets you know that I'm a little like boppy girl. Like I can be in my feelings, but I also could come in and give a little pizzazz, give a little razzle dazzle and shit. It's just, that song is to me one of their underrated classics. If they ever did a if the tour that they're supposed to do comes back, the one that they're supposed to do then canceled never happened. If it comes back, I want that song on the tour.
I really love like Quiet as It's Kept. PCD's entire catalog is fire in my opinion. But if we want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But the entire catalog,
like all everything. That album was. was it. People sleep on
Yes.
them, but they were the pop girlies for me
Yeah.
of the 2000s.
Bottle
Amorphous,
pop,
how about
all of
you?
it. All of
Yes.
it. But go
Period.
off.
Period.
Go ahead, Amorphous.
Oh, okay. My turn. Well, since you were a DC3 girl, I was a DC4 girl when I was little. So I
Mm-hmm.
really loved Hey Ladies by Destiny's Child. That was one of my favorite songs when I was younger.
Okay.
But my
Okay.
top
Okay.
tier pick, which I should not have been singing this song when I was little, is Rock the Boat by Aaliyah, my favorite song of all time.
Yes.
Ever since I was little,
Ooh.
it was just the
Talk about it.
groove. The vocals are underrated on that song. Like the background vocals, the
Mm-hmm.
ad libs, she just floated. And I always was mesmerized by it as a child. So to this day, like anybody
Mm.
that asks me, what's your favorite song? I'm like, Rock the Boat. Like you was singing that song at 4. I didn't know what the heck I was talking about. I thought she was actually rocking the
I was
boat.
rocking that boat
But
at
you
4
know
years
what? I
old.
was gonna be rocking
Yeah.
that boat
Yeah.
too, innocently at
Yeah.
4 years old, okay? Both gonna get it both
Rocking the
ways.
canoe. Rocking the
Exactly,
canoe at
Not
4 years
rocking the
old.
canoe, child.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Rocking beside
Not
it, all
rocking the
right?
canoe.
That's my
Yes.
pick.
Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Kind of the same thing for me. When I was a child, a lot of the songs that I should not have been listening to, I was listening to. But what I will say is, I think for me, my biggest thing was Anything and Everything by Michael Jackson.
Mhm.
Michael Jackson
Mm.
just really shaped a lot of it. And it's not even like Michael Jackson, like Thriller, and it's not even Billie Jean. I'm thinking about Scream. I'm thinking about They Don't Care About Us, and even A Stranger in Moscow. And shout out to some of the dolls who don't really know that song or know that song and don't like it. I just something there's so haunting about that song, like Stranger in Moscow.
Mm.
To me, there's just something so deeply haunting about that song, and
Mhm.
I still to this day can listen to it and I get chills, not chills in a bad way, but chills in like a, you can hear how lonely Michael was and you can really understand what he was going through at
Mm.
that time. I don't know, really MJ's whole catalog, but again, I know how people are about MJ and their feelings, and some people try to pay dust to Michael and talk about him and try to throw,
Mm.
salt on our King of Pop's name. But I will say this, for me, Michael is and will always be the blueprint. No matter who you talk about, no matter what group, no matter what person you speak about, Michael has always been that person that informs how people move, even down to the Queen now, right? Beyonce has said that a
Mm.
lot of her work was influenced by MJ and also
Mhm.
Tina Turner,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Um, and so I just say that, like, I think the reason why I love these songs, and especially being a social justice girly like I am, I could hear the frustration MJ had in a lot of the songs, especially Scream. You could just tell he was
Mm.
really tired of media. He was really
Mm.
tired of people lying about him. He was really tired, and really just tired of people really trying to soil the work that he had made for himself. But he was also singing about injustices, and he knew what was going on in the world and how they were trying to silence and discount him. And I could go
Mm.
on for hours about that, but I just think, even if we're taking away what media did to Michael Jackson, I will say just his music alone all his music had something that was relevant about the longing of people really wanting to, like, him wanting people to see him. And it just I don't know, it just I understand, as an adult I understand Michael so much better now, I really do. And so for me
Mm.
that was always it.
Well, his music has
Hmm.
lasted so long, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be for
Yeah,
generations
That
to
that
part.
come,
too.
and it's even today, in today's time, it's even more relevant than ever, the song that you were speaking
Yep.
about. So, I think that
Hmm.
it's very unfortunate when we, especially our Black legends, the way the media will treat them, just anybody. I mean, you brought
Yeah.
up
Mm.
Beyonce again. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about her in a few, but, you look at the way that she has been so pressured into having this private life. You know what I mean? Now, especially that she
Yeah.
has children,
Yeah.
and you say one wrong thing, and the media will spin it around into 20 different things. And so, for me, not
Yep.
necessarily being able
Yep.
to see Michael in his prime or in his element, but knowing that everything is documented, I can go back and look at, like you said, the blueprint of all these things: Michael Jackson, James
Hmm.
Brown, Tina Turner, Aretha Franklin, all these people that
Hmm.
had to go through the media storm in their own ways, but their legacies has
Yeah.
lasted forever. So even though he's gone, child,
Yeah.
people gonna be speaking his name until the
Still
end
with
of
us.
time.
Still with us.
Period.
And I'll say this, and I know we have to go to break, but I'll say this. It's so cool because one of my really good friends, shout out to my friend Falon, who is also a listener. Her son is probably, I think he's getting ready to go on. I should say them. I always like to say them when it comes to children
Yeah.
because children Again, I don't want to assign a
Mhm.
gender to somebody's child, but one of their children, I should say, is very much a Michael Jackson fan, a huge fan, and they're like 10. And it's like it blows my mind that they're so young and that MJ is no longer here, but yet this kid knows Michael so
Mm.
well. And so when you say that, it reminds me of like the legacy that Michael has. And like even thinking about Beyonce, like
Mm.
our kids will look back on Beyonce and their repertoire of music and say,
They
this
better.
woman, right. This woman set the precipice for everything when it comes to music and how we should think about music.
Mm.
But I
Right.
say that to say I appreciate that we have so many great Black legends. Like you said, James Brown, think about Aretha Franklin, I think about
Mm.
Brandy, I think about all of these people who just have such rich music that really shapes so many different pivotal points of our lives.
Mhm.
I love talking about music, and I'm so glad Amorphous you're here to talk with us about it. All right, y'all. So with that being said, while I dust off what I believe is the best album Michael Jackson ever came out with, yes, the Dangerous album, that is what I'm talking about. Y'all take a quick listen for some of our sponsors. We'll be back in a sec.
Okay, fam, we are back, and today we're going to do a deep dive into music. Not just the music we love, but about how our lived experiences might influence the ways in which we enter, or more of us, how you enter and now work in the music industry. So to start our convo today, Amorphous, I want to ask you, what was the moment where you realized that you had a gift for creating with music, and how do the intersections of your identity play into that?
Hmm. Great question. I think I realized that I had a musical gift really, really young. I think honestly, my family realized it before I did. When I was about three or
Mm.
four, 2001, 2002. Um, well, I know now it's 2001. Aaliyah's "We Need a Resolution" had just came out. I remember that because my brother was a huge Aaliyah
Mhm.
fan, and something about that production by Timbaland just like did something for me. And I used to go around the house beatboxing that song like I made it myself. I used to have my cap on backwards, rapping Jay-Z songs. Like I was just really musically inclined with like just using my
Mm.
own or being self-sufficient with my own body. But that's like banging on the desk at
Mm.
school, just finding ways to make production wherever I could. And everybody used to get so tired of it when I was younger, but I know they're happy now. My family is, regardless of yeah,
Yes, yes,
and
yes,
you tie
yes.
that and you ask the other
Mhm.
question where it comes with my identity. I mean, I feel like I knew exactly who I was at a very young age as well. Just like I think I was just kind of like
Yeah.
born into that. I know everybody else has their own experiences and that's personal to them, but for me, it was just like, I'm here, I'm queer, y'all will deal, and y'all will have to like live your rest of your life. But
Right.
I used to think I could sing. I mean, I could hold a note, but I used to want to be a singer when I was little. So all of my favorite, artists, Aaliyah, Destiny's Child, Brandy, I would
Mm.
do routines at the talent show. I would get my teachers and during recess, I would make them
Mhm.
sit down in front of me and I perform, the rock the boat choreography, or I do, lose my breath. Like that
Yep.
was just what my entire life was as a child. And I do think that over time, as I got older, I actually became a little bit less confident. I had that confidence a lot as a child that a lot of
Mm.
people were still trying to work up about
Mhm.
themselves. But as the societal
Yeah.
pressures of
Mhm.
really like coming to terms with my identity and maybe some questions that I may have had in middle school and high school, I noticed that instead of being like that in front of the camera, want to be the superstar artist person. I actually was perfectly fine being the behind the scenes person and letting my creativity speak
Mhm.
on like the production side, or if
Mm.
I'm really big into film, so being a director, not necessarily being the actor in movies. So it's definitely informed a lot of my work when I look into where I am today, where I was kind of like thrust into the spotlight without asking for it.
Mhm.
Even though it was always
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
dream of mine in the back of my head, I kind of let some of that go. So it's very full circle. I've been able to just allow myself to
Mhm.
be myself because there's a lot of pressure within this industry. Some people want you to hire yourself. Some people want you to be the spokesperson for an entire group of people. And I can't be that. I can be who I am. And hopefully that speaks to, individual
Yeah.
people and they can pick what they want to pick for me. But
Mhm.
yeah, I hope that answered the question.
Yeah. No,
Great.
you that was actually a beautiful I don't know. It was just a very full answer. I
Mm,
think it was very much like very intentional. And I think it really folds into really great into this next question. One of the questions that I was very intentional about putting down, and when me and Joe, because me and Joe, we work together and we write the questions to figure out how we want to interview our guests.
mm,
I think one of the things that I really wanted to talk to you about is this idea of like, you went from what was very clearly, I have a dream. I'm gonna make, because I mean, again, I've been following you for a couple of years, and so I knew you before the pandemic, right? So
mhm,
I was following you, and I knew what you were doing before the pandemic, and I remember seeing tweets from you being like, "I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be big one day," right? And it was beautiful to see another Black queer person have that type of energy behind themselves, right? And then the pandemic hits, and a lot of us are thinking our dreams are kind of going out the window, right? I'm trying to make it in
Mm,
other areas. You're trying to make it. We're all trying to make it. And then we get shut down. And then all of a sudden it just takes off for you, right?
mhm.
And now I'm seeing my good sis is doing what they said that they were going to do. So talk to me about the moment that you knew that the world was taking notice. Like, what was that like? Like, how did you balance both the good and the bad? And like,
mm,
did you at one time ever be like, wow, this is so much, I don't know how I'm going to handle it?
So I
mm,
never ever felt like
Hmm.
that. I've never felt like I couldn't
Okay,
handle it because
good,
I've always
good.
felt protected within
Hmm.
myself. I knew that I had a really great
Good.
family
yeah.
that no matter what happened, if anybody
Yes.
really tried to do something with me, look, I got people in my corner, being from Philly.
I know that's
Um,
right.
but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that I
Hmm.
didn't feel, a certain pressure at a certain point. Like I said, I think the biggest pressure
Mm,
I've
Hmm.
ever felt in this industry, period, or with this platform now, is that so many people project what they want me to be onto them instead of like just
I
allowing me to be
got that.
myself.
Yeah,
But
I
I've
feel
just
it.
been able to just like try to tune that out. But as you said, like I've been doing this for a minute. The mashup stuff, that was always something
Hmm.
I did when I was bored. Like it was never anything that I really wanted to
Yeah.
like jump into. I never considered myself a DJ before the pandemic. I was always the producer, filmmaker
mm,
person. And I've had my, fair shot at going viral in the past. So, I've had, Rihanna watch my documentary that I did on her while I was in film school. I've been in touch with Missy for years. Ava DuVernay almost offered me a job when I was out in LA just because I made a fan trailer. Like
Hmm.
I've already had gotten like what most people would be like, oh my God, this is my shot, or now I have all this visibility. So
Yeah.
I was a little like jaded because even when I had those opportunities, it never really materialized into something. Even though people knew who I was on
I feel it.
SoundCloud and on Twitter, I had
I
a
feel it.
certain amount of followers. It was cool, and people would respect, my work. Nobody ever fully
Hmm.
like reached over and was like, "Let me bring you on," or I was never able to
mm,
monetize that. And as a college student, I have to pay bills. I moved to LA in 2019 thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a trailer editor. I'm going to grind. I'm going to work my behind off. I'll start off as like a runner or something, and I'll be editing, the Hollywood
Hmm.
blockbuster trailers. And oh Lord, that's not what happened. I was really, really, really struggling. And when I look
Hmm.
back at my child,
Hmm.
I was very fortunate. My dad, he grew us up and took care of us, him and my mom. We had a lot of, financial backing when we grew up. But then in my college years, that's when, I was able to experience the other side of what that's like. Like, even though I was able to nurture all of that creativity as a child, now I know what it's like to be a starving and striving artist. Instead of just being
Hmm.
like, hey,
Artists,
dad, I
yeah.
really want to have this production gear. I know it's a lot of money. I don't like to ask you for a lot of things, but can you get it for me? And him being like, sure. To now I got to make sure that whatever I'm getting myself, I put 100% into
Hmm.
learning and understanding. So I moved back
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Orlando, which is where I went to college. This is where I'm currently at right now. In early 2020, like right as the pandemic hit, I drove back to Orlando with literally no money, like $300 for gas. I didn't want to tell my family what was going on.
Wow.
I was in a really bad situation.
mm,
And I spent that year, and excuse me, I spent that ride home really just having a conversation with God myself. And I was just saying, you know what? I'm tired of worrying. Like, I'm so tired. Like, I'm literally spent.
Hmm.
This has been the most trying year, probably of my life
mm,
in terms of my own personal confidence and just certain things that were being thrown at me. And I'm like, I'm not giving up, but I'm letting go. So whatever is meant to
Got it.
happen in my life is what I will receive. If I'm meant to work,
Amen.
a regular job, and I will be
Hmm.
grateful for that. I'll be grateful just
Hmm.
for breath in my lungs. If I'm meant to be,
Hmm.
Mr. Superstar, all these beautiful dreams that I've had to come to fruition, sure, but not everyone is, blessed with that. And that doesn't mean that life isn't worth living if your
Hmm.
dreams don't come true. There's just other things that are, being put on your table. So Yeah, just sitting in my
Yeah.
room, Orlando. This is like what, November. One of my friends had told me, Jameer, people know your work, but they don't know your face. Like all these DJs and all these people are playing your mixes and stuff, and they hear your voice in the documentaries, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody's really like put you to your work. So why don't you use
Mm.
TikTok or like social media to put your stuff out? I was like, girl. I said, it's not even that serious. I don't even want to do it. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to get any attention off of this. I just do it for fun. Like, no, trust
Right.
me, just
Yeah.
do it.
You. Right. Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, fine, fine. I started, putting my mixes out on TikTok, and I wasn't even like DJing at the time. It was just me like dancing and just having fun. And I would put like the
Mm-hmm.
music over it and show, my work ethic in Ableton. And certain mashups started to like get a lot of traction. I did like a couple Ariana Grande ones that started to blow up all over TikTok. I did a Megan Thee
Mm-hmm.
Stallion mix that was like everywhere, it reached her. I was like, oh wow, like when you have that momentum, you want to keep the consistency up. And my biggest thing is like, I never
Mm-hmm.
want people to think that anything that I do is a fluke. I want people to know that I am talented and I know exactly what I'm doing. Even when I'm just being bored and having
Right.
Period.
fun,
Right. Right.
like with the
Yeah.
mixes, like just there's a reason why people gravitate towards that. So it
Yes.
was the week of Thanksgiving. I was doing a lot of stuff and putting things out. And I think I went from like 2,000 followers, 3,000, like 7,000. So like, a decent boost. I was not complaining.
People are
Um,
paying attention.
People are
Yes.
paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And Thanksgiving morning, I had awoken from a dream that I had, and I've been really intentional about like I think I've been lucid dreaming a lot recently, and maybe that's like one of the first times that I
Mm.
ever did it because what happened with it was just really crazy. But I was in the car with my dad in the dream, and Never Too Much by the Vandross was playing on the radio in my dream, but I kept hearing Rihanna's voice over it singing "Kiss It Better," and I was like. When I woke up, I'm like, I know that doesn't exist. I don't know if it's gonna work, but it sounded fire in my head in the dream. So I, got up, got on my laptop. I'm like, we'll see if I can make it happen. Made it in 5 minutes, recorded me doing it, put it on Twitter, went to sleep for about an hour and a half, woke up, and everything was
Woke
changed.
up everywhere.
Everything was changed.
Yeah.
LL
Oh.
Cool J was in my DMs. Kehlani was, in my messages. John Legend was retweeting me. I had gone from like what,
Wow.
7,000, like 20,000 in that span of time. It was just ridiculous, like in an hour and a half.
Wow.
And I was so gagged. I was like, girl, this was light work. Like this wasn't even anything that was like meant to be. I didn't feel
Like,
like
I just
that
woke
for
up, but okay.
seriously.
You said I just took a nap.
I just took a nap.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck?
Yeah, I just had some chicken.
Like
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
as fulfilling at first. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, like all these
Mm-hmm.
people are seeing this incredible thing that I did. I was like, I was a little confused. Like all these other things that I'm doing, I've done full length documentaries and stuff, and this is the one that kind of blows up. I was a little irritated. I'm not even gonna lie.
Mm,
But then I was like, you know
I
what?
feel it.
How dare I? How dare I be mad even in this moment, or even somewhat like feel like I'm not, or this wasn't worthy? Because if people gravitated towards it and it made them
Mm.
feel good, that's all that mattered. That's all that mattered. Even if I thought
Yeah,
what I put
Mm.
out
yeah,
was
yeah.
trash to the world, if someone said, I love what you did, that's all that matters. That's what a legacy is. So
Mm.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
wanted to make sure when I had all those people in my messages and looking at me, I was like, all right, what I said before was consistency is key. People might think this is a fluke. Maybe all these people haven't seen me the last few years grinding. So now I'm putting out
Right,
another
right.
mix that's I think is really fire. People loving that one. I'm putting out another mix. I mean, I was just everywhere for about 2 weeks. I know some people was getting annoyed. They're like, who is this little light-skinned DJ? Why is he everywhere? He just came out of nowhere. I'm like, I don't care. It wasn't about that.
Right, right, right,
I
right.
was
Yeah.
just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Like I said, I've had my fair share of viral moments, but now I have people that I've dreamed of working with, Brandy, Jasmine Sullivan, with people paying attention. So how do I show them, yo, like
Mm.
I clearly have an ear for this, and then how do I take that and make my dreams of being, a producer and working with all those artists or doing my own project and use this as leverage to get there? And I think that's exactly what happened. Yeah,
Oh, I love
Wow.
that story.
thank you.
I really appreciate how like one thank you for sharing like such a
Mm-hmm.
comprehensive look into like your beginnings and how you've gotten to where you are now. I appreciate that it was such an organic transformation as well too. It wasn't something that you just were looking for, which I think is really powerful and special, right? Because so many folks are like looking for that,
Mhm.
and
Mm-hmm.
there are many folks like, who are looking for it, like can get it, but then sometimes like the journey's a bit sour to get there. When you get there, you're like, God damn, I put in so much work to do this.
Right.
And there are many folks who who want that and then don't get it, and then it becomes really challenging as well too. So for it to be
Right.
so organic, and for you not to like be what for one, like to not to be like debased by it, but also to continually show up just as yourself and just do the things that are going to bring you joy, and seeing what
Yeah.
comes from that is really special and powerful. But I think also it lends itself to a bit of like a purity, in the sense of you weren't attached to it, you weren't attached to the outcome. Like you weren't like, this is what the outcome I want. I just want people to just enjoy what I'm doing. And also I hear the tension of, okay, but I've been doing all this work, and y'all really gooped over this 5 minute thing I did in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
But like, okay, work,
literally.
work, but like,
Right.
but it's really like it's really cool and beautiful. Like it's like pure to know that like you did it without an attachment to the outcome, and it speaks to when you do things for joy. That is what like that's when beauty can come out of it. And
Truly.
that's what so much success comes out of
Truly.
too. So I really appreciate you naming so much of that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you more about your process. Like tell us about your process of making mixes, and like how the process has evolved. You said before, like you wouldn't call yourself a DJ. Now like maybe you could call maybe you would say
Mhm.
DJ. So like, yeah, I mean, I know you used to just spin out of your bedroom,
Yeah.
right? And like bedroom on TikTok doing dances, and now you're on stages around the world.
Mhm.
So what has the evolution of your work like in a technical sense look like, and in terms of gear, in terms of how you sit down, how does your creative process look differently now? Just give us all
Now
of it.
don't give us all the sauce now. You don't want nobody
That's true.
taking
You know what? To be
give
fair,
us
You're right.
all
You're
the
right. You're
sauce.
right.
I
Yeah,
think I
give us
could
just
give the
enough. Give us
sauce.
just enough.
Look, I think I'm all about giving.
Yeah.
I think even if I gave all the sauce in the world, no
Yeah.
shade, but I don't think anybody could do what I do. But that's neither here.
Okay.
I know that's
Period.
right.
Because
Period.
everyone
She's like,
else
because I'm me. Because I
Yeah.
am me.
and everyone else
Okay.
has their
I
own
am me.
flavor. And I think, like you said,
Right.
one of the big reasons why I feel like people gravitated towards what I did was the fact that you could see that I was clearly enjoying it. So anything I've done has been the fact that I've wanted to do it. All the songs that I've mixed together, it's because I enjoy both of those songs, or whatever the case may be. But my process to this day remains the same. It's only just now that like sometimes there might be a check attached to it, which I'm always grateful for. But I do try to keep it, I try to keep it intentional within myself that opportunities come and go. This life that I have now, this career that I have now can be taken away from me at any moment for any reason. We're going through a pandemic that was really hard. And there's so many people with so many dreams that will never ever see it. So I just try to keep myself grounded in that and remind myself that even if I don't know, I mean, I don't think it'll happen. I don't want to put this out into the universe, but social media, like people can just turn on you in a second, just, for no reason. And I think that it's just really important to remind yourself, like, why are you here? Why were you put onto this earth? Why are you doing this? Does it make you happy? So my process when it comes to mixes, like when I say that, oh yeah, it takes like 5 minutes to do stuff, it's because I clearly enjoy doing it, even just in my spare time. But it's been a bit of a juggle when it comes to like, now that most people see me as a DJ more than anything first, which again, I've learned to not run away from, because if people perceive you in a community based way, rejecting it isn't going to necessarily get you anywhere. You embrace it, you take them along on the journey of showing them the other parts of you and the other things that you can do. So previously in my interviews, when I first was blowing up, I used to be like, I'm not, people would be like, DJ Amorphous. I'm like, I'm not a DJ. I'm Amorphous, who happens to DJ, do all this stuff. But now I'm just like, it is what it is, because I know that within myself, if I have those people that are paying attention anyway, once I pop out with the films, for real, or once I come out with my debut album and all those things as a producer, it'll just be another reinforcer of like, oh yeah, that's that kid that was a DJ, but he could do all these other things, instead of it being like, why is he acting like he's not a DJ? Why is he being, he's being a little bit too ungrateful for the platform that we gave him, because that's really what it is. I was gifted the platform. I didn't just make it happen. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think my process, the gear wise, I still use Ableton for production. That's been my thing for at least, goodness, 13, 14 years. Jeez. Oh man, it's been a minute. But I do have some DJ equipment, because, DJing honestly does pay the most. You do some corporate gigs, you can live your life for the rest of the year without any worries. So, again, who would I be to be like, I'm not a DJ? I probably wouldn't get booked. So I just go out there. If it's light work for me, that's a blessing. Again, I'm a Capricorn, so I'm a workaholic. So the things that are the hardest to finish and do are the most fulfilling to me. But if someone asked me to go up there and spend for, 10K, I'm not gonna say no. I'm gonna be like, girl, I can do this in my sleep. Let me do
Okay.
this in my bag, and then I
Right.
can reinvest
No,
that
that's
money
right.
into the other things that maybe fulfill me a little bit more. But yeah, the process has
Amen.
remained the same throughout my entire life, to be
Mm.
honest.
Hmm. I think it's really cool that, like I said, I feel like our paths crossed. And well, first off, I want to say, one, I love that you haven't gotten into this headspace of, and it's kind of what I was initially going to say. I have seen people get the notoriety, and you see the switch up real
Mhm.
quick, where it's like, yo, only call me this. You can only respond to me this way, or you can only, you know what I mean. And you see the very evident change of, like, when you were hustling, like all of us, it was one story. But
Mhm.
now that you've got a little bit of coin in your pocket, you're totally different, right?
Right.
And I
Mm.
love, like, I think that's one of the things that made me gravitate towards you more, was seeing you openly say, like, I'm doing what I'm doing what everyone else is doing, right? I'm trying to break into
Mhm.
this industry, and it's hard, but I'm gonna do it. And then you make it, and now you're still very much kind of like, I'm still Amorphous, and I'm still using the same products, and I'm still very, open, and you're still responding to DMs, and you're still,
Mhm.
so it's beautiful to me, because,
Mhm.
like I said, I've seen so many people. I love that point that you made about it can be taken away from you in a day. I always think about what Chris Rock said about the notion of here today, gone today. And I
Mhm.
always say that to myself, even thinking about, no shade to Drake. I don't know that man, but I'm even thinking about just everyone loved him up until like maybe 2 weeks ago. And now the whole world seems to be against him. And
Mhm.
and some of it rightly so. But
Mhm.
what I'm saying is the world loves you until they don't. And I just I love that you haven't, you basically have just, in my mind, I don't know you personally, but what I will say is, from our interactions online and from our emails and from our DMs, it's always felt like I was talking to the same person. And I think you make me feel like it feels good to know that there are people in the industry who have not lost themselves. Like, it's just a
Yeah.
beautiful thing to
I
watch.
truly
Now
appreciate
let's
that. Not
now
to
let
cut you off.
go ahead.
I
Go ahead,
just
baby.
I think you hit
You're
the
fine.
nail on the head when it came to the fact that I think when you're talking about people that switch up, my biggest question to those people, because
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, I see it all the time too, but it's like, what did you want out of this? And you make it what it is. And you
Mhm.
Mhm.
can really spot out the
Mhm.
people that are passionate about it and the people that are in it for either the money or the coin, which is crazy to me because this industry is
Mm.
flipped upside down right now. I'm like, the money, where is it at? Because it's starting to dry up.
Yeah.
Right? I'm
Like,
like,
what
Everybody's
money?
struggling.
Where?
Everybody's
everybody's
struggling.
getting laid
What
off and so
money?
many things.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you want to get into this
Yeah.
industry right now, you better be passionate about it because the
Gotta
industry will
love it.
try to wring
Gotta
you
love
out.
it.
It really will. So, I
Mhm.
mean, again, I think that's just a testament to one, the way that I was raised. I mean, my family, they were just always like, you can say that you are that person without making it seem like nobody else is that person either along with you. We all have our different individuality to
Mhm.
bring to this world. So when I said earlier, like nobody can necessarily do what I do, it's not that nobody can't execute what I do, but nobody has the story, the experience, the
Mm.
intersectionality to bring my identity to what I'm
Mm.
doing. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
just advice for
Mhm.
people, creatives, don't switch up. Ask yourself, why do you really want this? Are you passionate about it? And if not, girl, like I said, when it's
Mhm.
taken away from you, what you gonna do then? What are you gonna do then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that,
Okay.
and I think more people need to hear that and need to know that.
Yeah.
But I also know that there are people come to this conversation for the questions that we all go ask, and we know that you want a million NDAs, so you can't tell us all to death. But what I want to say is, I want to know what was it like working with Queen Beyince herself? Like, what was that? Did, like, little baby you die little in the production meeting? Was there chicken? Was there, like, were there treats? Like, what was it like meeting her? How was that? What she smell like?
Can you tell us these things with NDA?
I can,
I'm curious what.
look, I'm gonna do it like this because so far Yvette hasn't said nothing. And Yvette watches everything, so shout out to
Okay.
Yvette, girl. Hey, love you, sis.
Yeah,
Hey,
I know,
Yvette, gonna be
I know
like,
Yvette
shut
know
this
who
shit
I
down
am,
now.
though.
Like,
I know
uh,
Yvette gonna text me, be like, "Stop the interview right now." But no, I know
Burn all
Yvette knows
footage of
who I
this.
am.
That
nah, I
part.
mean,
Yes, yes.
I think since it's been about a year, I've been able to speak about a couple of
Hmm.
different things. I don't think, nobody's been like,
Hmm.
no opportunities have stopped because of it. Like I said, I mean, I have a great
Yeah,
relationship
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
everybody involved. So like, if there was ever an issue, they know that like when I was working on the tour and I had to do interviews and
Mhm.
people would ask me, "Oh, who's the artist you want to work with?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, Beyonce. I would love to work with her one day. You know, that's one of my biggest dreams. Knowing damn well I was just in the session the other day. Yeah,
In the
so
studio with her.
and
Yeah, yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think PR wise, I
Hmm.
think I'm pretty good. But it was the most
Good.
amazing experience of life. I mean, I'm sure it would be for anybody, but I had always said my three favorite artists of all time were Aaliyah, Beyonce, and Rihanna. Those are my three girls. Okay, just all three of them. I mean, obviously
Hmm.
Aaliyah's not here anymore, but the
Right.
experience that I had working with Beyonce, I got to meet so many people that honestly actually knew her. Fatima, she choreographed, and Fatima actually ended up knowing me already through a mutual family friend of ours.
Of course she
So
did.
I mean, I was
Yeah.
gagged. I didn't think she was gonna know who the heck I was, but I'm like, I kind of geeked out a little bit. I was like, listen, I'm like, I don't want to, do too much and be unprofessional or anything, but I know so much about you because of your work with Aaliyah and your experience with her. And that was just a really beautiful
Hmm.
moment because she really appreciated that as me being someone, 26 years old. But back to Beyonce. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was amazing. I think her entire team is just so on point. I think the most
Hmm.
beautiful aspect of it to me is knowing that it came from her, wanting to work with me. It wasn't like, oh, someone on her team was
Yeah.
like, yeah, work with this Amorphous kid. It was like she knew exactly what's going on. She's always just like in tune with what's happening, consciously
Yeah.
through the music industry and through the internet. So I just was honored to be into that space. Renaissance as a Black queer man meant so much to me
Yeah.
when it came out. And
Amen.
so many people, I
Hmm.
remember, because I was already doing like a bunch of mixes. And again, I keep saying, like, I just do it for fun. The mixes and stuff, I don't consider that work. But because I already had a platform and stuff, I remember seeing some tweets, people being like, oh, like, you think Beyonce's gonna recognize you? You need to stop. Like, don't ruin Renaissance. And then I'm like,
Hmm.
first of all, it's Beyonce's work. The Renaissance album is not going anywhere. You can listen to the original. I would be
Right.
streaming the original.
Right.
I stream
Right.
it every
Okay.
day. Like, this is not to replace
Okay.
Same.
anything. You're not going to
Okay.
outdo
Yeah.
Beyonce. It's just not going to happen. I'm just doing this
Right.
for fun. This is what
No.
DJ
Right. Right.
culture is
Right.
all about. This is what, expression is all about. And, I just felt like I'm just gonna tune that out. And it was not necessarily being like, oh, if I do all these mixes stuff, Beyonce's gonna notice me. I was just having fun. I just was someone that appreciated the album.
Mm.
But it was the
Right.
Solange and
Hmm.
Plastic Off the
The
Sofa
cranes
mix
in
I
the
did with
sky.
Cream of the Sky.
Yeah.
I
Uh
think
huh.
that's the
Mm.
one that really like solidified it. Because she ended up using it in one of her reels on Instagram. And I was like, that's when I was like, okay, wait a
Hmm.
minute. Like, she knows exactly who I am for real, for
She
real.
knows who I am.
And she
Yeah.
had
Uh huh.
known of me, I think, in passing. She just didn't know it was me for years because I did a Beyonce and Jay-Z mashup
Mm.
album in like 2017.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
B and J were
Hmm.
going to do one of those mixes on the Run 2 tour, but just it didn't pan out for some reason. So I'm like, you didn't know it was me, but I promise you, girl, that was me. Like back then, I've been here working,
Hmm.
for 5 years.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
when I got the call, it was. I mean, I just went on my knees because I was literally outside of working with Aaliyah, working with Beyonce was my biggest dream, and I have had vivid dreams about it in my sleep of like us being in the studio together and just like cooking up stuff or just like having her say like beautiful things to me and to be on the other side of that and to have had that experience and to have had a community and a place where I could just do whatever I wanted to do. And there really wasn't much of a
Right.
question about
Right.
it. It wasn't really
Mm.
like, no, it was like, okay,
Hmm.
give us all that you can and we'll figure out what to do with it from there. You just, when you
Hmm.
get something like that from someone of that stature and someone that has meant so much to me and my identity, it makes me emotional. Just the most beautiful
Hmm.
experience ever. So thank you, Beyonce.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I'm just I always feel like I'm getting inches closer to her,
Yeah.
just vicariously through people I know. I'm like, one day
Mm.
I'm gonna rub shoulders with the greatness of Miss Giselle herself. But no, I was gonna ask. So like thinking about real quick, I just wanted to ask this. I'm like, I got you here, and I just want to know this because I don't. She didn't really initially get into it in the movie, and again, I don't know how much you can say about it, but I'm wondering, like, were you involved with like the entire mix of the entire tour, or were there just specific songs, or was it because like I'll say the two moments for me where I lost my shit in the audience because I went twice. was the Cuffit intro when she went the dun, 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 all of that was that for me is what gave me the chills. And then also the Nina Sky mix in the with the Move Out the Way. Like I'm thinking to myself, Beyonce's mine, but then I'm also going, Amorphous is mine. Like that, like I could hear it, and I knew it was you. And so I'm just like, how did all of that happen? I want to ask that because I don't think I'll ever get to ask you that in person.
Of course. I mean, I'll say what I think I can say. I mean, I think I can say this, but
right.
The Nina Sky moment, that was me. I actually mixed that with a few things right when Renaissance Tech came out, and so when I got the gig, I was like, let me slide this on in there, and just,
I'm doing that. I'm doing that. Yeah.
But
Let
I
me get
think
the clearance.
I was there. I was part of the entire process for a very long time, but it was a collaborative effort. She was very, very hands-on, obviously, and then Kyrie, Tyler, and all the other musical directors. It was all just a community effort. So basically, my process was kind of just like, okay, I'm gonna do a bunch of ideas. As soon as I got the gig, I just stayed up all night and just cooked up like maybe 70 different ideas for whatever songs could potentially be on the set list. I wasn't sure yet. And then those got presented, and they were able to take those and just put them where they felt like they worked. But after that, I was also kind of like in a bit of a consultant role when asked. I was never going to overstep or anything, but there might be a question like, what do you think of this? Or like, how should I do this? Or do you think this is going to work together? Should I take this song out of the set list? And I'd be like, I mean, I don't know. Why are you asking me? I'm just here. But having that experience definitely gave me a lot more confidence. Again, when you have someone, not just Beyonce herself, but her entire team being like, yo, you don't need to be afraid. You have a voice. That's why we brought you here. Speak up and say what you think. If you think this song should be in the show, then we're not going to put it in the show. So, or we'll have a discussion about it. So, yeah, it was.
So we're going on record as saying you're the reason why we almost cut Diva. So
absolutely
so
not.
everybody
Absolutely
knows
not. Hold on. I was on Blue's side.
I'm just kidding. So we're going on record and saying Amorphous is the reason why we almost lost Diva. Yeah.
And this is where Yvette comes in. This is where Yvette comes in saying, shut it down. Shut it down. We're done.
This is where Yvette says, nope, shut it down.
We're done.
But I think
I love it. I love it.
Just again, a really great learning experience. The fact that I was able to be a part of the process for so long, even after most of my work was done, just getting to observe and to see how she worked and how the musical directors worked and just the process of it. I had tweeted for years that I wanted to like musically direct someone's tour, that I wanted to help Beyonce with her transition on her tour one day. So to actually be there, I was like, let me soak in as much as I possibly can, because maybe I'll be in the next one, but even if not, hopefully I can work on other people's musical arrangements and stuff.
Still
like
legacy.
I've been helping out with Victoria Monet. I did a couple of things for like her Coachella set a few weeks ago, in her birthday thing at Coachella the year before. It was Coachella. I don't know, child. She's all over the place. But I've been able to help out with some stuff.
Yeah.
To have the biggest artist of all time be like, hey, I want your ear for my tour, which is where she's like the most hungry and the most hardworking, and she doesn't play any type of games. I'm like, okay, hopefully some other doors will open for some other artists that I would love to work with as well. So,
baby,
Riri, R9, doors. I'm not playing.
Yeah,
I'm like, please get her advertisement. I'm ready for it myself. Please. It's I think what's really special about what you shared about your experience working, one is like, I can't imagine the type of tools that you've gotten from being there, and like how that will only help you grow, not just career wise in terms of like the knowing who you are and what you're doing, but the tools you actually got in like working with someone like her as well too. Like I can't imagine only like helps your craft so much more too, and makes you more diligent about your craft. And I appreciate as well that it gives it helps humanize her in a way too. I think so many folks, and I know that I just sometimes myself like see her as like Beyonce the god, and she in her tours are like, I'm not a god, like I am literally just Beyonce, like I'm just a person.
I'm just a woman, right? Yeah,
I'm just I'm God's woman as well. So I'm like, so you're pretty close to God then. But really it really shows that like she she stands on herself, and she stands for the business that she does, and she's not trying to be so, like she's not trying to be the god that everyone wants her to be. She just wants to be a person making good music, making people dance, making people enjoy themselves, making people enjoy the art that she puts on, and really living for her own art. And that is really special to hear, and
Yes.
special to know, special to affirm what folks who do get to get closer do say, like she isn't trying to be like she isn't trying to be famous in that way. She just wants to be herself. She just wants to be and call that a good day. So I really appreciate you saying that. And the last question I have, I think I have a bit of like a dual prong here, because what's happened to you, right? People will look at that and say, that's never gonna happen to me. And I know, and I know we all have those moments as well too. So I'm curious to ask, what advice do you have for folks who are looking at you and thinking that that want that something, something that will make them joy this, like this, won't happen to them, and how do they overcome, or do you have advice for overcoming the imposter syndrome at all, right? Like the telling yourself you can't do it. How might you overcome the battle of believing in yourself?
I think that's a very interesting question because there are so many things that are out of our control. Like I said, for myself, I had made peace just with all of my dreams, whether it was Beyonce or doing my own work, that it may never happen because some people just are not afforded that luxury, just by circumstance or whatever the case may be. But I made peace with that and understanding that even if that didn't happen, I was still going to be happy, or I was going to find a way to be happy. I think some people are
Mm-hmm.
so attached to their dreams that if they don't happen, there's nothing left. And I think you need to have a healthy
Mm-hmm.
relationship with your dreams. So if you dream of working with Beyonce, do your very best, to make that happen. I mean, in terms of, you know, I guess when I look at, my experience, when it came to Renaissance, I didn't really let anybody saying, "Oh my gosh, she ain't gonna happen. She ain't gonna want to work with you." Da da da. It wasn't even necessarily about that. I was just like, "Look, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm gonna show my creativity and just leave it, you know, to God and see what comes from that." Um, but to the other question with imposter syndrome, I think again, just circling back to the whole relationship with dreams is like so many people are so talented and you will never know, or they are on Skid Row or are homeless or just their light was
Yeah.
snuffed out at 5 years old because of life circumstances of where they are in the world. Like you can't control that. You just really can't, unfortunately. So all you can do is give your all to it within the hopes that it makes you individually
Mm.
happy and just let everything else fall into place. And trusting that, I think, has been had more effect than me stressing out about it, being like, I want to work with Beyonce. I want to work with Beyonce. If I don't work with Beyonce, then I failed. If
Mm.
I don't make many
Yeah.
listeners, if I don't
Yeah.
get
Yeah. Yeah.
10,000 followers, if I don't
Mm-hmm.
get however many streams, then life is over. My career is over. My dream is over. I'm not going to be happy anymore. That ended up to me during those times, it kind of like reinforced that wasn't going to happen when I would speak like that because
Mm-hmm.
I was just attaching so much to it vehemently that it was almost like, why are you not just trusting the universe and just doing what you need to do? Have those dreams and
Mm-hmm.
aspirations, but also take a step back and just realize that, you know what, do your best and hopefully everything will fall into place. And sometimes that line of
Mhm.
you're protected, like so many people, so many friends of mine, they're like, they're so talented and they're like, oh my gosh, when I get into the industry, all my problems are gonna go away. And I'm like,
Nope.
huh?
They
I
don't.
said,
In some
no,
cases, they multiply.
no, sometimes they
Like,
multiply. I mean,
Baby, the
like,
way I've learned that, nope.
no, something, like even when it comes to
Mm-mm.
like understanding wealth and understanding money and stuff and trying to figure out how to make that work. Going
mm-hmm.
from, being in college and struggling in LA, like having zero money to now I have to have like an accountant and a CPA and girl taxes and so many different states. Like there's just a lot to work with. Obviously it's a blessing, but
Mm-hmm.
it does come at a little bit of a cost. I think a lot of people think that when they're on the other side of whether it's
Mm.
fame or fortune or success, that all their problems just evaporate, or it just seems that way. Um, there's just so much more of the process. So I would say just take your time and understand that like where you are in life is where you're meant to be, no matter if you can see it or not for some other reason. That's what's
Mm-hmm.
gotten me through. So yeah.
Thank you.
Testimony.
Mhm.
Thank
Testimony.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Sunday
Ah,
service.
ah. The truly,
Yes.
truly, that was like, I mean, it really is helpful because we, like we all have these demons inside of us that try to try to keep us from like reaching what we dream and believe in. I think that the advice of having a healthy relationship with dreams is really powerful and beautiful. So just thank you.
Mm.
Thank you so much. Okay, fam, we gotta take a break now though to face our inner demons. So we're gonna be back after a quick exorcism. Y'all grab a snack and come on right back afterwards.
All right, y'all. So this week, as we get into Segi 2, we're going to go ahead and return to our roots. And we're going to focus on the conversation of go love yourself. And I find that this conversation is very timely. And I'm so grateful that we have Amorphous with us to talk through this, because I think a big part of this, what our next segment or what we're going to talk about really ties into what they were talking about in the first segment. Really thinking about this notion of wanting to really kind of think about how we navigate negative self-talk, really. And so before I get into like the whole concept of the negative self-talk, and I know we've talked about this in different facets, we actually had a listener who reached out to us about this, and they wanted to remain anonymous, but they said that they wanted us to focus on this idea of like, how do we get out of our own heads. And I told them, I said, when I responded to them, I said, I think a big part of it is recognizing in this work and in this world and all the stuff that we're doing, that a lot of times the voices that we hear in our head are not our own. And so that's like kind of the first piece. But I wanted to ask you both and wanted to kind of dive more into that in really thinking about in our careers and our life and our ventures, or even thinking about this show. And Joho, that's kind of where me and you kind of have had to have like a meeting of the minds, where sometimes we get in our own heads, is like, is this successful? Is it going to be successful? Are people going to respond to this topic? Whatever the case may be, right? The negative voices in our head. How do you all kind of get over that? How do you deal with the notion of having something happen to you and feeling like you do or don't deserve that, and not letting life or society kind of get in the way of what I like to believe is a blessing that's coming to you? And the reason why I pose this is, as you all know, and I'm gonna keep saying it because part of it I have to promote it, but at the same time too, because I'm so proud of myself for doing it. I think I've been trying not to pick apart myself to death over this book deal. And I've been really trying to tell myself, like, the success of the show, the success of the book, the success that there are other things that are coming down the pipeline. Like this year, I'll even say, like, this has been the most booked I've ever been in terms of speaking engagements, right? I've never had, like, 2024 has been a year of true, like, I've worked my ass off for the last 6 or 7 years, and now I'm starting to see the soil and the stuff grow from it. And sometimes, like, I heard you talking, Amorphous, about this notion of not making it in the industry. As you know, I was trying to break into TV for a very long time, and it didn't happen. And so now I'm looking at all these other blessings that are coming, and I'm having to tell myself, I've been having to not talk myself out of seeing these blessings as that, right? And so I wanted to know, like, Amorphous, like, for you, kind of in the same vein, like, what do you do to, like, really take care of yourself and not let that negative voice in your head get in front of the blessings that are coming your way? And Joho, I wanted to ask you the same question.
I think for me, especially now, I think I think it's always going to be a constant conversation that we all have within ourselves, because there's always new demons that arise for whatever, it may be. I think now it's not necessarily career wise for me anymore, but even just like in my own personal life and certain traumas that I went through, and like, well, am I deserving of this, or am I worthy of, all these different things. But I think just, again, it's all about cultivating or trying to cultivate healthy relationships with the way that you speak with yourself. Like you said, a lot of the time those voices aren't you. It could be something that maybe you saw someone say on Twitter or social media. It could be something that you remember someone saying when you were a child that, you may have gotten bullied for. There's so many things that they manifest in other ways to try to knock you down. But I'd say my biggest piece of advice is to not run from it. A lot of people try to suppress it, or they overextend their confidence. And once that kind of facade of, because it's not necessarily real within themselves, it's not really how they feel. Once that facade is kind of up, then they come crashing down, and they're like, I have to build myself back up to that place again. And again, I just think understanding that, like, literally every single person has that issue. You know what I mean? Again, the most confident people that you see, the Kanye West of the world that are just out there like there's nothing going on. I'm the king of everything. It's like they still are dealing with their own personal inner demons. You just may
Yeah,
not know it. So I try to,
Right,
yeah.
right.
abide by understanding that like everybody goes through it. Just like my own conversation with like understanding and grieving loss. And I used to be like afraid of it as a child, afraid of losing people, and understanding that like that's just a part of life. It's a
Mm,
process. It's going to be hard. It's going to be sad.
mm.
But instead of
Mhm.
acting like it's never going to happen, and then it does to someone that you really care about or are very close to, and now you don't know how to deal with those emotions, just having like a conscious conversation with it, and making sure you break down what that really means to you. That's how I try to apply it to my
Mhm.
own imposter syndrome for the things that I
Mhm.
have. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ooh, ooh. Okay, so this is
Come through media
it's.
training.
Come on, media training.
Do
Yes,
media
come on. Listen,
training. I'd love to
my
see
PR
it.
team is right.
Mhm,
Okay,
mhm.
so this is quite kismet to have this conversation because I was just talking about this with my play cousin Kelsey, or friend of the show, last
Yeah.
night, and so I'll first say like Amorphous, I really appreciate you naming that we kind of have to embrace these things about us. It makes me think of I don't know if anyone watches X Men 97 on this. Okay, yeah, the finale last night. Whoo! But it makes me think a lot about. About Storm, right? Like Storm facing the adversary, who like we really just we believe is this reflection of herself, and how we're all our adversaries, and she embraces her adversary. Like she realizes she has to stop fighting it, and she embraces it, to help herself gain her powers back. Like she has been preventing herself from accessing her powers because of what she believes about herself, what she believes to be true. And so it's interesting. I appreciate you saying to embrace it because you can't run from it because it is there anyways. It's there for a reason. It will always be there. So running away from it won't make it any less
Right.
present. It just means you run away from it. And so embracing it is like allowing your mind to say like, I appreciate you trying to look out for me, but I actually know better. And so Kelsey and I were talking about the people who take up space in our minds, even though they are no longer physically like present to them, they still take up space, and how to no longer let them have a vote in our minds too.
Ooh.
Like how we like
Ooh.
if we think like if we see as like city council, right? Like I actually did not elect you to be my council person. So why do you have a
Well,
vote in what I'm saying? And like right, like what is the pathway?
well. Mhm,
What is the
mhm.
pathway
I
to
read
releasing? Listen, like what is the
it.
pathway to releasing these folks' thoughts control over us? Like
Go off.
if I fully believe that we inherently deserve everything good that we want, like that's what I believe. And
Yeah.
if I believe that, then I must believe that for myself, which means that my ops don't have a say in what I do and who I become. It is giving no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Okay, and that is on period and
Okay.
amen. Now, putting that into practice
Amen.
is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
rough.
Yes, it's a constant
Like but
conversation.
I have to remind myself,
Mhm.
and one thing I was saying to Kelsey, like I don't frame it as an obstacle or a challenge. I frame it as a constant in process
Yeah.
conversation with myself to remind myself that I am so much more than what the people before me could envision,
Mm.
and their
Yeah.
power and what they've done helped me become that
Yeah.
more. And so if I am inherently more than, then I need to work on refusing to feel less than, because I'm not less than. I
Mhm.
am inherently more than. And so I would say that's like the framework in which I strive to operate out of negative
Mhm.
self-talk. And when I have those moments of self-talk, like I'll go through it and then I'll say, okay, girl, you being a rowdy body bitch right now, but like who's gonna stop you, bitch?
Okay.
No one's gonna stop you,
Yeah,
Bob. You
who
might as well go for it
Okay.
now. Like,
who gonna check
who's gonna
who
stop you?
gonna
You
check me,
versus
boo?
you?
Who gonna
No,
No.
right,
seriously,
right. Who gonna check me, boo?
everything that you're saying
Exactly.
is what makes us human. And again, understanding that and putting it into
Yeah.
that frame, like if you haven't gone through anything, how are you going to inspire anybody? If you don't have a story to tell,
Oh,
Mhm.
how are you going to
okay.
uplift someone else? So when we talk about legacies and leaving, you know, we brought about Michael Jackson and how you could have 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, still listening and gravitating towards his music. It's because he left a legacy even through his music. But we do
He
that every
did.
day in our daily
He
lives.
did.
The people that care about you, the people that love you, the people that see you for you, those are a
Mhm.
part of your legacy as well. That when
Mhm.
Mm.
everything is said and done, you made an impact on one person's life at least. And that has always gotten me through everything. Where I'm like, oh, these people on social media, they don't even know me. They just talking. I'm like, well, my mom loves me, my friends love me, but most of all, I'm going to learn to continue to love myself, even if I don't in the moment. Hopefully, I will when I wake up tomorrow.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Yes.
Yes, yes. Oh, what a beautiful. This whole episode has just been so beautiful, and my face is just hurting from all of the smiling and the joy that this episode has brought me. I don't know. I'm just so full of joy and so full of hope. This episode has really filled me with so much hope, and I'm just really
Mhm.
thankful that we're here. So, with that being said, we have one more time. We have to pay the piper. Y'all know we have to do this every episode. But when we get back, we're going to get back with y'all's favorite seggy. Yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, Pam. We will be back in a second. All right, y'all. So we are back, and this week for our Yes, ma'am, and I know, ma'am, Pams, I'll go ahead and get started. My Yes, ma'am, this week, I wanted to shout out Maryland's Angeline Also Brooks. I don't know if y'all have been
Mm.
following this or if you've been keeping up with it, but
Yeah,
she
rough
has been
face.
chosen. Yeah, girl, she's been chosen as the Democratic nominee for Senate. She is the first Black woman to hold that role ever. So keep that in mind. She is the first Black woman to ever hold that role. And if she gets nominated in November, that is going to be extremely not only historic, but it's going to change a lot of the precipice of what's happening here in the DMV area, specifically in DC. So I wanted to shout her out as just being a Black woman who really seems like she's for the people and seems like she's really got everybody here in Maryland. You know, she's got them in her good graces. What I will say though, because I know politics and I know politicians, I'm gonna just say in my RuPaul voice, don't fuck it up. You're doing all right, sis. Just don't fuck it up. All right. For my No Man Pam this week, I wanted to say it's a very simple, but it's also very sad because you know I loves me a good lobster tail and I loves me some good butters and I love me a good crab leg. Red Lobsters going under, filing for bankruptcy. Black people, this our fault.
This makes me so sad.
This
This is
is
so
us.
sad. I'm like,
We the
I
reason for
thought
this.
Beyonce saved y'all when she said she surrendered Red Lobster. When he
Right.
fucks her, like I thought she saved y'all.
Right.
This is
Why are
us.
we still having this issue?
As soon as I saw that news about
Whew.
about Red Lobster going bankrupt, I said, "Niggas." I said, "It's our fault. We
Well,
the
well,
reasons for this."
okay.
And I know we gonna
Well,
get a
they
lot of
raised their
crap
prices on
for it.
us. Okay, they
They
raised
did
their prices on us in the first
and
place. So let's be
did
clear.
But I
Like
guess people aren't
we
and
getting
wrote for
it
them,
did.
and they
good, you
said
know?
we're trying to go to the white folks. So they turn on us first. I'm gonna miss them, and I love them, and I'm sad. But like they did this first, so they should know what this is what happens when you betray us.
No,
Like
Joe waving to
Mhm.
we're like,
them.
get my biscuits.
Yeah, yeah. What were you saying, Amorphous? I'm sorry.
I was saying, I guess they're not getting good because, like, why are they not
No,
doing
they're
it? I
not
guess
getting
that's
the
really
Who?
what
fuck
the issue
good.
is.
No,
I guess that's really what the issue
Yeah,
okay.
is.
I don't
What they
Why are
know,
they
say?
not going to Red
but
Lobster?
I'm
Like, why are they
so
going out of
disappointed.
business? Let me just go get some
Yeah, but you
biscuits
know
real
what?
quick.
If you've been to one, those biscuits, they go steal. The biscuits do what they supposed
I
to
hope they
do.
Okay.
sell
But
those.
if
I hope
you've
they sell
been
those still.
into
That's
them,
smart.
they do. They do sell them. You
Okay.
can go in and buy them,
No,
and you can buy the
I
mix.
hope they will still sell them
Right.
after
Oh,
when it
if
grows.
once well, from what I understand is they're just basically downsizing. So that's partly it.
Okay.
Like it's not like they're all it's not like a soup it's not like what is a
But they're
sweet
not
tomato
all
soup plantation
closing. They're
situation where
just
they're all closing.
basically
It's just they're downsizing so that way they
okay.
don't go under, but I definitely think it says a lot
Okay.
about just kind of a lot of us are, and I say a lot of us, a lot of people are not going out to eat because we can't afford it. Like
Right.
they're just people who are
Mhm.
genuinely in the mind. I don't have $100 to throw away on a meal. Like I just don't have it. And
Right.
so I think we're
Mm,
really seeing the reset. Like as much as people say we're not in a recession, we
We
are.
are.
Like it, people
okay.
are people are literally doing the best that they can. But anyway, with that being said, Red Lobster, I hope y'all get it together, girl. It makes me real sad, but I really just hope that this doesn't mean that they all gonna close soon. Amorphous, what are your yes ma'am and your no ma'am Pams for this week?
My who and my who? Yeah,
So
I read that on the part. I did have a
Okay.
question.
So easy. Yes, baby, we got you. Yes, ma'am. Pam
Okay.
is the people, the person, people, or thing that you want to give
Uh-huh.
your flowers to, like yes, ma'am. Your no, ma'am. The
Okay.
things you want, but some you want to throw things at.
boo, boo. You want to boo? Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you want to boo,
Okay.
or what do you want to boo?
Okay.
Mhm.
So,
You said now what?
okay. My my yes ma'am Pam of today and of the week is honestly going to be my good boo Lendrix. Now, Lendrix, if you don't know who Lendrix is, he's an incredible incredible R&B artists. Please check them out on SoundCloud, Spotify. They are finally getting a lot of the attention and the traction that they deserve.
Good.
They've been out here grinding for a very long time. And if you want someone that has a story and is truly putting that into their music and is just creating good R&B music and is one of the male vocalists of our time, I will stand by that. Go support Lendrix. Okay, go support Lendrix. You know the ear. I got it. I won't lie to y'all.
I know that's right.
My no man Pam. Oh, do I want to say that? I think I do. I'ma just
say it.
I love them down. Dang.
If it's too bad,
Sorry,
we can
Drake.
bleep it.
No, sorry, Drake.
Oh,
It's okay. It's
Drake,
it's
okay.
because it could be, you could be my yes man Pam next week. I don't know. It just depends.
That's
I have to see what happens with the music, but unfortunately, when it comes to social media, I was at Everyday People the other day, and everybody was dancing to Not Like Us.
I saw that.
Yeah. It's just no man Pam. It's just that time. You know, it happens. It happens. It happens to the best.
Fingers, like lyrically was amazing, but also beat wise was banging. Like
it was banging, and it's like I'm not even like a hater. That's what I'm saying. Like I have, like, you might catch me. I need a one dance. I'ma listen.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm saying.
If it come on, I'm gonna listen.
I'm gonna rock my head. So I can be objective. But as of right now, I hope that he takes his well-deserved break. He just lets it simmer over.
Sit
Don't
down.
put out no collabs. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. Shout out again. I've worked with Division. Those are my brothers. Love them down. But I can still be objective because I'm not under the camp. Okay.
I know that's right. Yeah. I also wanted to say before we get out of this segment, a shout out to Mary J. Blige and her boots. So I also wanted to say, I picked to say that at the top too. I was going to say that at the top of the segment. I don't know if any of y'all have been watching the whole conversation happen around Mary J. and her boots, but also a lot of people have been like, why did she do it with Giuseppe? And why is it, so expensive? And I'm going, that's because she's been wearing Giuseppe's for years, right? It's Mary J. Blige. That's all she ever wears is Giuseppe. So y'all need to know that she's not, like, Mary is not broke. Like, Mary has money, and Mary
from like, girl, please get going.
No, everybody thought it was going to be a Kmart situation, and I'm like, y'all playing in our sister Mary's face. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that real quick. But go off.
And they sold
out.
Go ahead,
Joho. What about you? Sure did.
Oh. Okay, so my yes man Pam is well, okay, so one I just want to say to yours real quick, John, the fact that if Miss Angela is elected, it's a story for what you said, but also because I think it would be the first time that Maryland has a flipped seat in the Senate.
Wow.
Which would be very interesting and powerful. And we're at a time where the GOP or Republican Party is trying to flip other seats, and so we're in a time where we're seeing that, like, people are being flipped, like, and it's really interesting to see, like, there are some states that were blue that are now becoming red, or some parts of it, and vice versa. And so if she were to be elected, like, it may give us a chance, to make sure we have more Democrat folks in the Senate, and which is, I mean, a crapshoot another day, anyways. But I wonder how that will go. Yes, Pam is going to be in the realm of politics. There is more work happening to reclassify weed, marijuana, THC, however you say it, to reclassify it as I think level 3 drug and not a level 1 drug, which is federally legal, which has landed so many Black and brown folks in prison for just possession charges. And so there's work being done, and I believe, I mean, Joe recently said publicly that nobody should ever be arrested or jailed for possession, period. Let's hope that he actually puts that in a policy. But that would be amazing work that would be done if possible, because I mean, so many folks that I'm sure that we know that the people that look like us are constantly failed by our quote unquote justice and incarceration system because of possession. And so the reclassification would help alleviate those charges. And I wonder and I hope that would also mean that people who've been incarcerated would get released from those charges as well too. That is what I really hope.
Hopefully,
Yes, ma'am, Pam, to the work being done. My no, ma'am, Pam. I don't know if it's true or not if I saw it, but there was like some. Okay, actually, you know what? I'll just give like a general one. Queer Republicans. I just don't understand. Like I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand, bitch. Like Rima, why? Rima, why'd you do that to me? Like I don't like.
Yeah,
I don't understand. Like I need to know. Like what do you think will happen? Like do you think it's just one of those things where I'm like, you want to be like so badly that you will
pick me.
You want to pick me? So you be these folks who the second they in power, bitch, you will have no rights.
All your rights,
and then you will be like, oh my god, I have no rights. I thought they ride for me. They don't. They won't ride for you, girl. All weapons formed against you will not. They will prosper against you if you do this shit like that. So like,
I never thought a leopard would eat my face. I never thought a leopard would eat my face.
I don't understand, and I have questions, but also I'm like, and I try not to like generalize so much, but I just see more and more queer folks show their whole asses in this way, and I'm like, why? So just no man hands to y'all because it's just right. Like what's in the water because it's not what's in mine.
Seriously.
Until we all don't have no rights. I said, y'all gonna keep playing until you ain't got no rights. And then it's gonna be a different, y'all gonna be singing a different tune.
I'm gonna hijack the conversation, but the people I keep seeing on Twitter now, they're like, I'm not voting this year. I'm like, okay, so it's 2016 all over again. Thanks.
Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Yeah, because when you don't have rights, when you don't have any rights and you are singing a different song come January 6th of 2025, then we'll have a different. It'll be a different conversation. But keep playing. Keep playing.
The one's gonna be like, "What's happening? I don't understand." This girl, you're gonna pull up the tweets, and I'll be like, "This you for real?" Question mark.
Right? This you because this is your fault. Right. Well, with that being said, y'all, please send us your thoughts, feedback, and email to blackfatfempod@gmail.com. You can also send us your thoughts via social media by interacting with our posts on Instagram, Twitter, and the YouTubes. Go down to the YouTubes. You can watch the videos, and you can also subscribe. Tell your mama, your uncles, and your aunties to subscribe because you can also see the visuals. Something that, again, Amorphous, if you could get that message to our queen, we're still waiting for visuals from both the tour and also from the album. I'm always waiting. I'm always
on our podcast. Let us know as well too. She's a
welcome
guest.
Always a welcome guest. Yeah, Beyonce's always welcome to come on down. Okay, but Amorphous, tell the girls where they can find you.
So you guys can find me at a couple of different places. I am on Spotify as Amorphous, AMORPHOUS. That is me. Yes. You can listen to my debut EP, Things Take Shape, plus a couple other songs and remixes that I've done. I've worked with the girls. My Twitter is Lone Amorphous, so that's just Amorphous with LONE in front of it. And then my Instagram is The Official Amorphous. But child, honestly, just look me up on Google, Amorphous, producer. Go find me.
Period.
Yes.
All the credentials.
I know that's right. What about you, Joho? Where can the dolls find you?
As always, y'all can find me not on Google, unfortunately, not yet at least, but you can find me at Joho Daniels across all the socials. My website at jonails.com, and if not, there you can find me blasting Buckle Bunny by Tanner Adele. Tanner Adele was featured on Cowboy Carter, and the whole EP is bomb. But Buckle Bunny itself is just a bob.
It's such a cute
bob.
song.
You can find me with my spurs, with my little hat, my little lasso moment. Like it's real cute. So I'm trying to be a little Buckle Bunny.
It's giving. Yes, it is definitely giving. Well, as for me, you can visit my website at www.drjohnpaul.com, or you can find me at Dr. John Paul on all of the social medias that you like to interact with. These days, I've been using Spill and a few other ones a little bit more, so you'll probably find me over there. If not, you can find me screaming at my TV because I have gone back for a second watch of Ozark, and I'm just Marty and Wendy Bird. They are sending my blood pressure up. Like every time I watch this show, I always think about how much Wendy and Marty Bird really like. They are the quintessential. Like I call it the Taylor Swiftness of it all. They do stuff and then they go, "Oh, I didn't know that was going to be." Yes, you did. You knew that was going to be the thing. Yes, you
Right.
did. Oh, I
You
didn't know
just
that was going to
don't
get so-and-so killed. Yes, yes, Marty. Yes, Wendy Bird. You keep doing stuff. So anyway, I'm on season 2. I'm about to walk into season 3, and I'm still just as hot as I was the first time I watched it. But anyway, and I also wanted to say for our listeners, if you have any shows where it's like a Black Ozark, where the middle class mess. That's what I want. I want to know. I want to be able to watch more TV with middle class mess. I don't want to hear about the rich people. Give me a good person in the burbs doing something they ain't had no business doing. That's the kind of TV I want to watch. With that being said, I want to thank our producers, Bei Wang, for handling all the logistics and getting our guest here this week. And everyone down to the iHeart Media for keeping the show up and running, child. It has been a blessing. We would also like to shout out our wonderful editor, Chris Rogers, because without him, we wouldn't have a show or visuals. I'm still looking at you, Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter. With that being said, that has been another show. Stay black, fat, fit, fabulous, and remember, what's for us won't miss us. I love us for real. Bye.
Bye.